Okay, so we've started recording. And then let me just pull up my documents. Okay, so I'll just go over some housekeeping for this ISB, and then we'll open up the floor to any questions any of the companies might have. If in the event we just need time to gather and issue a response, then we'll just issue an addendum later on. So going into it, we'll issue the minutes as well on the website and then email it to all the companies present. So the due date for this ISB is on Friday, January 29, 2021. Assuming that there are no requests for an extension to submit bids. Any bids received after that deadline will not be accepted. Please be reminded that contractors or vendors must allow ample time for them to submit their bids. Parking is very limited between the main office as well as with the mayor's office. In addition to COVID, the activities have slowed down, but because our office currently is not open to the public, our offices are at staggered operations. We do observe social distancing practices, and we have staggered operating hours. So on the bid due date, when contractors come to submit their bids, we will have a sign posted at the front door for companies to contact myself or any other identified staff for them to drop off their bids. Contractors will also have to sign in for their bid submission, and the bid registration form must be completed. When you complete the bid registration form, you may either email it or submit it in person, together with the $50 bid registration fee. And to pay for the fee, you can call or email me to schedule an appointment to make the payment here at the main office. Again, that's a $50 bid registration fee. Bids will not be accepted or considered if a submission is made and that the registration form is not completed with the registration. Going over the procurement schedule, this bid was available from January 5th. Okay, I just got a message. I'll go ahead and allow one more. Okay, so I'll continue on. The bid was available January 5th. Today is the pre-bid conference scheduled for 10 a.m. Should there be any requests for site visits for this ISB, you may send me an email requesting for that site visit, and I'll schedule it with the appropriate property site manager. Also included in the ISB packet were the site maps for the different AMP site areas. The deadline for questions and requests is January 22nd by 5 p.m. That is the Friday. And GURA will issue a response to those questions or clarifications by January 27, 5 p.m., which is Wednesday. Again, the bid closing date is January 29, 2021 at 2 p.m. Any correspondence or questions, clarifications for this IFB shall be addressed to our Executive Director, Mr. Ray Tapasia. He is the contracting officer for GURA. You may attention it to me, Ms. Greta Balmeo. I'm the buyer's supervisor too. And I will also be the main point of contact for inquiries and requests pertaining to the procurement process for this IFB. We do stress that any and all technical questions must be submitted in writing so that GURA can issue the response through an addendum. Going over the required documents that must be submitted with your bid proposal so that they are considered valid and responsive. We have our HUD form 5369B, AG forms 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which must be signed and notarized. And then we have our bid form. There are a total of 3 bid items, which are the Metrolan connectivity, internet services, and voice services. And then a bid bond must also be submitted. It is a 15% bid bond. Cashier's checks are acceptable, letters of credit as well. And finally, this is an all or none bid. So this IFB will be awarded to the lowest responsible bidder. And then now we'll go ahead and open up the floor for any questions.
I apologize. We still have 2 people that are waiting to be accepted.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I do have a question. You had mentioned that your office is not currently open for to the public. Sorry, this is Ellie
Correct.
Lujan Tovis of Doppler Pacific. So how are we going to drop the bid packet? Is there, like, do we make an appointment or?
So usually the practice, since COVID, on bid due dates, a sign will be posted up front on the glass door. It's my extension, my direct line, so that when contractors come by, they can call me directly. And then I'll meet them outside. I'll bring out the sign-in sheet, and then they will sign in, drop off, hand over their bid packet to me, sorry, and I will stamp it received.
Okay, and where now will that also apply? Like, because we need to come in and pay for the bid packet.
Mhm.
So do I just come there and then call you when we get there, and you'll come out
Yeah.
and take our payment? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You can also send me an email if you like, for example, tomorrow, if you come by tomorrow, just let me know what time, just so that I can make sure I'm here at the office, or if I can designate another staff to accept the payment.
Understood. Thank you.
Good morning, Greta. This is John Day of Pacific Data Systems. I
Hi,
just
sir.
wanted to question on page 16 where it talks about the authority, number 1. So this procurement's being issued under the authority of also HUD procurement standards as well as GovGuam Procurement Act. And I'm just wondering if there's is the way this has been listed, is that like in terms of if there's any conflict between those standards, which one applies? I'm just interested in understanding how that would be prioritized.
Typically, the rule of thumb is that when there are conflicting laws, it's the more stringent standard that applies.
Is this using federal funds or is it local funds?
Correct. It's using federal funds. This is a fully fully federally funded project. We are HUD funded. So we do abide by HUD regulations to CFR Part 200, but we also make sure that we fall in line, because it is a local agency, that we fall in line with local procurement laws as well.
And also on the bid form that's including the package, it has amounts for the MRC and NRC for each of the services. Many of these services will have some type of surcharge or taxes or fees that would apply to the base rate of the services. Is there a specific mention or notation that that those total MRCs or NRCs must include all surcharges, fees, applicable taxes, etc. in those amounts?
I'll have to defer that response to our MIS team.
You're
Hi, Ms. Julie,
muted.
you're muted.
Oh, so sorry about that. John, so I know you're asking about the NRC and would we include any applicable fees or taxes? I want to hold off and get back to you. I'm assuming so, because we would like to see the entire cost for a pricing strategy, but I know at times those fees may change throughout, the life of a contract. So I don't know if maybe we want to put an amendment in there, Greta, to include a line for that, serviceable fees or taxes. But let us get back to you and we will put it in writing though. Okay, John?
Sure, and I bring it up because it has been a item of contention in previous procurements where one bidder might include a total price for the service that includes all surcharges, fees, and so forth, and another bidder doesn't, and just
Right.
says that those things will be added at the time of invoicing. But from a government standpoint, I would think that you would want all of the applicable fees, taxes, surcharges included. And you're also right about some of these federal surcharges, particularly. Well, even GRT, for example, has increased by 25% over the last contract period that GURA had. So it went from 4% to 5%. And some of the other federal fees we've seen go from 16% to, I think, almost 32%. So those fees represent a significant percentage of the NRC as well as the MRC on a go-forward basis. So I think it would be best to clarify that. And we'll also ask that in our written questions as well.
Okay, all right. And I'll make sure it's entertained as well. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is Judy Rosario with GTA. I had a question regarding or referencing the bid price form for your Sinahanya main office, 5 lines. It states that the vendor will continue to provide service dial tone for a minimum of 8 hours due to site power outage. Is this applicable to all the locations or just the Sinahanya office?
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, that would be applicable to just the Sinahanya office.
And this is Russell with GTA. Bill, along those same lines of that question, it looks like it's just specifying it's the voice services you're looking to have maintained over those 8 hours, correct?
Yes.
This is Judy Rosario with GTA. Can I ask who the current vendor is?
The current contract for the Metrolan is with Pacific Data Systems.
Hi, this is Ellie with Docomo Pacific. Question in regards to the general terms and conditions, line item number 9. It does specify bidder is able to put out 2 bids, basic bid and alternate bid. Could you please explain and clarify what that means?
Sorry, what page was that again?
Number
said
9.
Yes, correct.
Oh, of the general terms and conditions. Okay.
General terms and conditions, that's correct.
Actually, yeah, that should reflect three base bid items. I
I'm
don't
sorry?
believe we're accepting an alternate. It should reflect 3 basic items. So there's a total of the 3 base bid items: Metrolan, internet, voice. Yeah, that was from a prior template.
So will
And there
you be
are-
revising that?
Yes, we can revise it.
And I have one other question. Same thing under general terms and conditions. Number 25, you have, I'm sorry, the winning bidder will have 30 days to deliver once the order has been placed. Mean 30-day delivery?
Yes. Is that were you looking for an extension in time, or is that timing too short?
At this point, I'm not sure. I'm just inquiring.
Oh yeah, then definitely we want to keep it within the 30 days for the services to be completed and up and running.
And this is to be effective date is March 1st, correct?
We're hoping to, assuming that there are no requests for extensions for this, the ISP.
Okay.
It would also,
Judy Rosario with GTA. Can you confirm if GER will allow for wireless transports, or will this have to be underground services?
Bill, I'll let you.
Yes, wireless is acceptable. As long as it's not on the cloud.
Hi, good morning. This is Marcel from Docomo Pacific. I have a question for bid item 2. If is there a requirement for static IPs, and if so, how many will be required per site?
This is Judy Rosario with GTA. Just along the lines with Marcel's question, on the general requirements, it states that there are 3 public IP addresses required. However, on the bid pricing form, there is no areas where we can put the pricing for IP addresses.
So we can add in the line for the cost for the IP address. But I want to defer to MIS for the question on the IP part. So I'm not too technical.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bid item number 2. I'm sorry. What was the question? I'm so sorry.
Hi, question was if there's a requirement for static IP for each site, and if so, what's the quantity or the number of static IP that's going to be needed for each site?
I think we can, we'll get that on an addendum.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, because I do see under general requirements, and I may be way off on this one though, but yeah, we'll revise it because it says that on item number 9 on general requirements, mandatory of up to 3 IP addresses, but that's for internet, and it doesn't say, which sites. So yeah, we'll clarify that as well. Apologies.
Thank you.
So this is Ellie with Docomo Pacific, and will you also be revising the bid form to add a section for that?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
This is Judy Rosario with GTA. Regarding the landline services, analog lines, can you advise if the transport can be used through a wireless connection, or would this have to go through a copper or cable connection?
Our building right now, since our renovation isn't provisioned for copper, yes, a wireless is acceptable, pending that it can be powered for up to 8 hours. That's why that clause is there.
Thank you. And this is for all sites, correct?
No, that's just for the Sinahanya main office.
However, the AMP1 all the way down to AMP4, we can use a wireless solution to transport the landline services?
In that case, we would also need the 8-hour guarantee on power for the line.
Okay, so the 8-hour minimum power would be for all locations. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you use a wireless solution, because the AMP locations are all provisioned with copper.
Thank you.
Hey, Bill, this is John Day at Pacific Data. I just wanted to go back to your previous caveat that you mentioned about the wireless. You said the wireless was okay as long as it wasn't part of the cloud. Are you meaning that that the wireless connection would need to be a point-to-point connection between specifically the GURA location and the directly to the service provider network, and not a multi-point type connection that you would normally have like on a MiFi, or that would use the cellular network, that kind of thing? Is that what you're meaning?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any additional questions or clarifications needed? If we're okay, so we'll go ahead and conclude the pre-bid conference. But again, if there's any further questions, Ms. Julie, sorry.
We have 3 people that I haven't been able to identify yet. I see a Marcel, Julian, and Sean. Do you mind if you can go ahead and advise what vendor you're with?
Sean Lee, I'm part of Docomo Pacific.
Thank you.
Marcel,
I'm with IT.
I'm sorry, Marcel?
Marcel Buensuceso with Docomo Pacific.
And I'm Julian with IT&E.
Okay, thank you, Julian.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so there's no further questions or clarifications. Again, you guys can also or always submit it still until the deadline for questions or clarifications, so we can issue you that response. And again, this pre-bid conference meeting is recorded, so we'll have it available on the website together with the minutes, which will document the questions asked here with our responses as well. Okay.
I do have
Thank you
one
everyone
other,
for joining us.
I'm sorry, I do have one other question. We'd like to request for a site survey as well.
Okay. What date were you looking at?
I guess you can just let us know, and we will give us a schedule, and then we'll ensure that our team is there.
Okay, we'll do. Were
okay,
you looking to go to all the sites?
That's correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay, so I'll coordinate with the managers then for those areas.
Okay. I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Okay, I'll try to schedule it within next week, and I'll send out a notice.
Appreciate it, Greta.
Right. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Have a great day.
You as well.
Thank you.